This is the plaintiff, Michelle Jones. She says she gave the defendant a deposit on a car, was promised financing, got the car home, only to find out it was a piece of junk, and now wants to return it and get her money back. She's had it with the defendant's dirty dealing ways. Hopes the judge rules in her favor and prays she gets her $2,417.24 back. This is the defendant, Anthony Vigaggio. He says he's jumped through hoops for the ungrateful plaintiff and simply can't believe she has the unmitigated gall to sue him here in court. Basically, she fell in love with a Chevy Cobalt, gave him a deposit, the bank refunded the money, and then she called crying because she'd lost her job and couldn't afford the car anymore. He's done everything under the sun to help her out. And in 20 years of business, this woman really takes the cake. He's accused of not budging.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff put a deposit down in a Chevy Cobalt and says it was a pile of junk. The defendant says she lost her job and it was her tough luck. It's the case of the Cobalt Blues.
You're welcome.
Okay, Michelle Jones, you are suing the car dealership. You've asked us not to mention your company name, so we'll respect that, for $1,672.24. The amount of a deposit, $1,400, that you placed on a car, and the rest of it, expenses in trying to get this money back. What happened here?
Well, on March 29th, I came to the dealership. I had an appointment with the financial advisor. And I'll be honest with you, my credit isn't all that great, but they managed to get me a loan.
How'd they do that?
I out of the grace of God, I believe.
Really?
So,
I thought
yes.
It was over the $3,000 something odd acquisition fee that they charged you up front in order to loan you money at 24.99%.
That is correct.
Oh, okay. That's how they did that. I'm not sure the hand of God was in this. I think he might be busier with other stuff.
Perhaps.
Not your credit, but go ahead.
So they were able to get me approved for a $12,000 loan for a used car.
What kind of car did you buy?
It was a 2008 Chevy Cobalt.
Okay.
Basically, I really wasn't happy with the car, but I needed it for my job because with my line of work, you need a car in order to...
What do you do?
I am a sales supervisor at M&M Mars.
M&M?
Yes.
Wait, M&M as in the candy?
Yes, ma'am.
Really? What's your favorite M&M? Which one do you skim, the regular or peanut?
I try to stay away from it.
You try to stay away from it? Good
yes.
for you. All right.
Yes.
Now, so you find something you like and you decide you're going to buy the car. You apply for a loan and lo and behold, you actually get it. And then what happens? You bring the car home.
I brought the car home, and I noticed that as I go over some bumps, I hear a grinding sound underneath. So I called them back right away, and they told me to bring the car in the following day. So I've done that. And
do you bring the car in?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And do you have paperwork from bringing the car in for a grinding noise?
No, because I was told to wait there until basically it was done.
Okay. So what happens? You're sitting there for how long?
I was there for approximately 2 hours, and then I was really getting tired, and of course my children was home, so I said, well, let me go back, and I will call them back.
That's a point where you can get something to show why you're leaving the car and you don't get it.
No.
Okay.
No.
So you go home, and what happened?
So they told me to call back in the morning, and most likely it will be ready.
Okay.
So I called back in the morning, and they told me it was still pending. So, of course, the following day, that was Easter, so I didn't call. That following Monday, which was the 5th, I believe, April 5th, I called, and all I was getting was the runarounds from Monday to Thursday. I was getting either the person is not available, or the person stepped out, or the person didn't come in. So I asked to speak to the general manager, and they told me he wasn't available. He was in a meeting.
Did you ever speak to Mr. Voltaggio?
No, I have not.
Okay. And so what happens to your car?
It's still at the dealership.
Okay, but what did they tell you as you've told me about the first 5 days. What happened on day 6, 7, 8? How eventually do you end up deciding you're going to sue them? What happens? Between
Monday and Thursday, like I mentioned, I've been trying to call them, and I have not got in touch with anybody who would give me a proper answer. So that Friday, that week Friday, that's when I decided to take this legally. So you filed a lawsuit by the Friday? Yes. And that was 7 days after you'd returned the car to them? Yes.
I'm going to hear a very different story from you, aren't I? What is your version of this?
What happened is that she came in, we told her to go pick out a vehicle, go out, we have hundreds of vehicles outside, pick out a vehicle, which one you like, and we'll see if it fits in your criteria. She goes out there and she picks the Cobalt, right? She takes it for a ride. She comes back, she wants the car.
Okay, so you're not actually at the sales point, right?
Well, no.
You're the guy when they say, be right back. I gotta go speak to the man behind the curtain. You're the man behind the curtain.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
you're the
Judge.
Wizard of Oz. Okay.
So what happened is that she comes in, she says that she could put down a down payment on the vehicle. It was $1,400 on a debit card.
Okay.
And she left us a check for the remaining balance, not to cash it. She would come in with the cash.
For what remaining balance of what? What was the remaining balance?
Of the down payment.
Oh, how much was the total down payment supposed to be?
It's
$2,736.
Okay, so she put down $1,400,
yes.
And then the remaining
was $1,336.50.
Right. All right. So she takes the car, and then what happens?
So 3 days later, she drives it. She comes back in. She says, "I hear a noise on the vehicle," and I said to her, "Well, ma'am, the service is in the back. You know, take the car. You know, they'll take it." Go explain what's wrong with the vehicle. She goes, "Well, how about this? I don't have the rest of the down payment." So then
nasty like that?
Just like that.
Okay.
Your Honor. And I said, "Well, whoa, now let's go back. You don't have the down payment?" She goes, "Yes, I don't have the down payment. I don't want the car. I lost my job. I'm not paying you any more money. That's that." Okay. And I said to her, "Listen, you know, you can't just do that. You can't just bring back a car. You know, you took delivery of it, you signed all the documents."
Where's the car at that point? She's gone to service and left it there?
She didn't even go to service. She walked out the door and took a bus home.
Okay, where did she physically leave the car?
She left the car on the ground with the license plates, everything on the car.
Okay.
And just left.
Okay, and so she tells you, "I don't want it and I want my money back"?
Yes.
If you had a problem getting credit, would you pay 25% interest?
If you're really desperate, yes.
Would you ever pay 25% interest?
Never. I would never pay 25%.
You just wouldn't buy the item?
I would never buy it, no. I would never take that percentage.
25% seems awful to me, going inside the courtroom.
Now, he describes a situation where you decide you don't feel like paying, you change your mind on purchasing the car and getting into that kind of a financial debt. You describe a situation where you take the car in for repair and they're holding it up. And I gotta tell you, I have some difficulty with your testimony. I find it very difficult to believe that in 7 days, you can't find out how a repair's going. You don't know who you talk to. You can't speak to anybody, and you file a lawsuit to get your deposit back. Well, do you understand how it starts to look like maybe it's that you just change your mind on the deal?
But that's
and if
not
you
true.
change your mind on the deal, then prove it to me. Show me that it's not this way, which is you put the car there, you give the key, and you say, "I'm done. I'm not paying anything." Because you filed a lawsuit in 7 days. Do you know how fast that is? That looks like somebody who changed her mind and wanted her deposit back right away. That's what it looks like.
Well, no, Your Honor, that's not true, because just like what this gentleman said, I did not return.
Were you supposed to give a bigger deposit and didn't? That part's true, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And you couldn't afford a bigger deposit?
No, I would have had.
Well, you didn't have it that day. The day
I
you
didn't
wanted
have
the
it
car,
that
you
day.
didn't
That's
have
correct.
it, right?
That's correct.
And then you didn't come in and make any payments on this car. That was it. You turned the car in 3 days later.
No, because the payments wasn't made, and the payments is not even
Ms.
due
Jones,
yet.
I'm sorry, but you can't change your mind. This is a contract, and I find that you changed your mind. I find that this is not a situation where they took the car in for repair and then you had this incredible runaround where you were waiting a really long time. You filed a lawsuit in 7 days to get your deposit back. And it starts to smell exactly the way he's saying. My verdict in this case is for the defendant, because if that's the case, you don't get your deposit back. Because it costs them to spend that kind of time with you, put in all that paperwork, take all those man hours. There's a cost to that. And the cost is that that deposit's not refundable, and the contract is not something you can walk away from.
Even though that they tried to settle after the fact?
You can't do it. You can't do it. 7 days? 7 days you file a lawsuit? That's you changing your mind. That's my verdict.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, here she comes. It sounded like a case of buyer's remorse or some such thing.
You can say
What's your
that
reaction?
again. Well, I believe that the judge was wrong, because I really wanted the car. I needed the car for work. And, I had all the proof stating that, I was going to do the right thing. And, I didn't really get a chance to say what I had to say.
All right. Sorry. Head right down there and let's see what the winning party has to say here. What happened here? Buyer's remorse?
I think it's buyer's remorse. And I, like the judge says, I bent over backwards to try to help her.
You used car salesmen are none of you are any good, right?
Okay.
Is that true?
No, that's not true.
I mean, that's what everybody thinks. Used car salesmen. Say something good about used car salesmen.
Some of them, I can't speak for everybody, but the majority of them are good.
Harvey?
You know, this is all about how the contract is worded. The fact is that the buyer may not only be responsible for the amount of the deposit. Depending on the circumstances here, it's possible that the buyer could be on the hook for the full value of the car. So you've got to read these contracts.